Hello and welcome to the East Plain Peter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the Township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the Township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the Township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
All right, welcome to the July 13th, 2026 meeting of the Eastland Peter Township Board of Supervisors. All supervisors are in attendance as well as our staff. We always begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have agendas in the back. We'd like our guests to sign in. Last meeting, so. Jack. First item that we have after our pledge is public comment, non-agenda items only. Anyone from the public wish to comment today? Okay, hearing none at this time. We have another time for that later in the meeting. Our consent agenda has minutes of our last board meeting. It has our agenda for approval this evening, a number of time extensions for various projects. We have a financial release for an existing project and the payment of important invoices. May I have a motion? Sorry. Motion by Mr. Gallagher, second by Mr. Hayward. Any discussion on that consent agenda? All in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Any opposed? And our consent agenda is approved. Items. Next, we have old business. A declaration of plan termination. Plan number 2021-04, Gary Kunkel Stormwater Management Plan at 821 Horning Road.
So Mr. Kunkel provided a plan that incorporated stormwater management basin along with his neighbor's stormwater management basin in order for him to do an expansion of his house. And so that was approved and recorded. He later determined that it wasn't going to work out between him and the neighbors and did the project through a small exemption for residential under stormwater management. However, his neighbor posted the improvement guarantee for the project. And so he can't get his funds back until plan is terminated. So that's what you see before you. Taken a little while to get the termination executed.
So this would be an approval of the board, if they so desire, for the declaration of the plan termination that gets recorded later.
That's
Formally empty.
That's correct. Once that's recorded, then Mr. Kunkel would be responsible for bringing his escrow account up to date, and then the funds could be released back to the neighbor.
I'll make a motion that we approve the declaration of plan termination for number 2021-04 Gary Kunkel Stormwater Management Plan at 821 Horning Road.
Second. We have a motion by Mr. Gallagher, second by Mr. Rudd. Any discussion on that item?
If I could, I would just ask that the board make it contingent upon Mr. Kunkel getting his escrow account up to date.
Motion revised to reflect that.
Mr. Rath, you okay with that? Yes. That addition? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. The new business, we have acceptance of the proposed zoning ordinance text amendment regarding adaptive reuse of hotel properties in the C2, C3 zoning district and authorization to distribute to the planning partners for review and comment. We have presenters here.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Charlie Sir. I'm here with Jeff Neely, Redevelopment Authority from Lancaster County. So what you have before you is a proposed text amendment to the zoning ordinance to set up a new use, which we're calling adaptive reuse of certain properties within the C2 and C3 district. We've worked with staff over the last month or so, about a month, to try to get the language right that we wanted. We have the proposed ordinance there. It's set up as a conditional use. So this would come through there. We'd have to come back before you for approval. If there's actually going to be a redevelopment project forward. With limitations in the ordinance, so it doesn't proliferate. It's only C2, C3 district. It's only from 50 units. Has to be organized and sort of essentially run by an agency such as Redevelopment Authority, one of their sister organizations, or a similar nonprofit come in here. So it's not just a private individual owns it and can house people. So there's a whole supporting network. That's really important. Drafted a petition for that. Hopefully you don't look at my signature block when I call myself for the count of Lancaster. I guess maybe you didn't see that. On Sunday, and I missed that, but we quoted a bunch of provisions which are in your comprehensive, your draft comp plan that you have from 2026 right now, and it specifically references redoing some of these. Really not so nice to me. Converting them into housing, it could be affordable housing, workforce housing, those types of things. And so your comp plans call this all out. So you guys have a vision in 2026 comprehensive plan for them. So tonight, we're asking for you to accept the amendment, and then we start the process under the MPC. We send it to your planning commission as well as your county planning commission. And ideally, the hearing night schedule, your next meeting in August, which would be the 17th, we would just make the 30-day period, just beyond the 30-day period necessary to send you. So Justin's here. You have any questions for him about what he's thinking?
Justin, before we start, so who do you project the purchasing of these properties? What sort of segment would buying these properties?
Yeah, I would say it would be probably nonprofit housing developers who would also provide supportive services. So it would be, something like our nonprofit or redevelopment, or it could be a partner that we've funded in the past that owns, thousands of units across the county that are mortgage. So it's written kind of in the amendment that obviously you would know if they're coming presenting a project to you, you could ask for some of the history about their work for years or their development or developing a vision rather than running.
So it's written in strong that the supportive agency is key to the property as purchased.
You can't have a hotelier come in and buy it and put housing in.
And we can't just say it has to be the county redevelopment authority.
Right.
You can't limit that either. So, that was the original thought, but that doesn't work. So we had to bring it out. The key is that supportive services is what's, the entity, whatever entity it's nonprofit, they have to provide the supportive services. That's what we're here.
So as it goes through the system here, East Main Bear Township, when those questions come up, you're prepared to answer.
Yes,
All that.
yes, certainly.
And we're having an example of right now, we're operating a hotel in another municipality that is going really well.
Justin, do you envision more than one hotel?
I mean, pilot one, and then kind of take it from there. But again, it's all on market too. So There's only certain ones that. Or it goes through the blighted vacant property process. If it meets this size.
What is your average rent for affordable housing and?
Well, it all depends. I mean, it's affordable. I mean, you can say affordable is affordable for you and me to live. It could be affordable for someone who is on SSI or fixed income. It'd be someone who's working on one of the jobs for 30, or, you know, they're living in town because they can't find housing. They're going to your school district. It could be full. It's really what's affordable to them. And so there could be units that are tied, you know, to a rental assistance, maintain to get that assistance. You have to meet certain criteria. Could be, you know, removed from that assistance, and then it could also be, you know, folks who can pay fair market. So if you look at single room occupancy fair market, I think it's about $1,000 per unit. Single room occupancy, that means they at least have a bathroom facility, sanitary where you preparation there. It doesn't mean they have a kitchen. And so you'll see in the amendment too that if you don't have full kitchen facilities, if you
That's a question I have. What, when you say in common, it says it's on, yes, the second page, section 4.3, portable cooking devices such as hot plates or nobody, but you can use a microwave, you can, but what's the space or requirements for a kitchen? Is that further adaptation with venting and?
it could make a hot plate, would be enough room for someone in a single room.
Yeah.
And some of these hotels could be not single room, could be a little bit larger. It all depends on the building, the age, what we find that's wrong or needs to be updated for building code.
So is there, it speaks about a kitchen, there needs to be one that can be shared. What's the size? You know, how many units would be unable to have a kitchen? And so what's the size of the one that says this is available for these units?
It depends on the size of the building too. We have to take a unit away. Common area, it could be existing laundry area that could be converted into a kitchen, kind of a sit down.
I guess the question is, no more than 50 dwelling units should be permitted. The kitchens, would that include that?
Yeah, again, it depends. One example I'm thinking of, two in, one on each floor, so each floor has access.
So each floor, so one for 25 people to share.
Potentially, or if there are funds available, again, we're in a climate where most of housing is really hard to obtain to keep it affordable. And so there might be some opportunities where there's some, you know, there's ability to create kitchens in some of them.
Sure. No, I'm just wondering, because once we establish an ordinance, it establishes a practice that becomes then not amendable or has to be. I would just draw attention, as I look at that one, the spelling of shared needs to be edited. It says shard. So if we approve it, it needs to.
Justin, with how the units are managed, is it if somebody's problem tenant, is it just like any other rental property, you evict them, or is
There's
it?
a eviction process. If it's transitional, so they don't have a full lease, there's also like housing agreements and other things in place.
Related to that. So when we say, hey, it has to have supportive services, that's what our amendment's going to say. Give us an example, especially the public will be looking for this, and I realize that could come out in a later meeting, but how do you generalize or give us top three?
I would say it's someone who's helping someone else navigate to get either sustainable housing if they're in transitional, or to maintain their housing. So that could be help them the job search. It could be help them get go through some legal issues. It could be
Sure, personal budgeting,
familial. Yeah, just
personal
make sure
budgeting.
they're walking alongside. So if you're looking at 50 units and you probably want at least 2 people for full time for property like that, which is a lot different than your conventional just management of a property, which is they're just doing the leases and usually have one property manager scattered on a couple different properties. Right. We intend to also have property management, that would be separate than the supportive services.
I think that the general public would really appreciate that, like really as concrete as we can. What does supportive services mean? Management, they might be a little easier to understand that, but I think that's the real plus.
And the federal government's really pushing through HUD right now to do supportive services and transitional housing.
As an example of why personally, I think this is such a great idea is if you even have extended stay housing that's approved and it's running like it should run, you get none of that. You have none of that supportive service. So your paycheck to paycheck, your, income tax time is coming. What's going to happen around the holidays? There's just so much to it. And you guys are tapped into the social workers and so forth of not only the school district, but others. So.
And when we would contract, although we're not we'd be more
Right.
interested in investment and revitalization of the properties than it would be work for support services. So a lot of that will be, that's why the mentions there or other nonprofit will probably be contracting services for those who are already doing it.
And I think when you come in for conditional use, there's gonna be a lot more details provided on that.
Sure.
They're gonna have to give, you exactly what they are, the property we identified, to know the number of units, or at least, tentative conceptual details, what's going on with supportive services, who's doing a number of the people. And it could be different depending on the group that's coming in, which is why it's not written in here, but yet you still have to do that. It has to meet what you guys are envisioning for supportive services. So the balance, trying to make that general enough, but yet specific that if there's some meat in there, they'll come through. But that's what the conditional use process really is, that these are actually supportive services that are happening. And then that will be tied in to the approvals that come through here. So if you have a third party which came through, flipped the property, they couldn't. So it'll be tied in through the hearing process, become part of the property law is operating. Part of it becomes a zoning issue. That if it doesn't function that way, they can, you can stop it. But each one's going to be a little different on how we do it. And even, if the redevelopment authority, they may operate differently at different properties, depending on where they go. Maybe slightly different. I think this is on the end the way I think it's.
Justin, what level of renovation do these go through? Is it the bare minimum just to get them occupied, or is it a significant renovation to the exterior, interior?
We'd be doing enough so that there's no maintenance issues or it's not. We buy blighted properties across the county and try to
Address.
My point is our expectations are that it's a livable, falling building code. And so that may increase some of the costs. And so that's why we may not be able to do a lot right away, because you have to find a way to track those costs down if you have to renovate. Looking at some of the properties, one with acquisition and potential renovation costs, you'd be looking at per unit to convert to houses. Whereas right now, version that we're seeing, new construction is 370 to 1,000 stability. So this would be a significant reduction, which will allow us to provide affordable rents.
Yeah, and the redevelopment of it, I mean, we might know it as, let's say it's a 50-unit hotel. Well, you're going to reduce, you're not going to have 50 units in there by the time you're done with community kitchen and so forth. And what you have to do with it individually, it'd be less. But do you have an earmark of how that might work when you look at a hotel?
Yeah,
The reduction.
it all depends, like one that we've been looking at, you have to make it a number of accessible units, and there are 0 right now, even though so we'd have to go in, and does that change number of units? Maybe do more modifications. It all depends on the layout. I mean, you might get lucky and have some nice common space that both for meeting with folks on the supportive services, but also able for a community space. So it'll be really a case by.
I mean, that was some sticker shock there a little bit on when you think about each unit. But so do you foresee looking for other sources, government sources to handle this? And would the township be asked to join you on
Not necessarily
on those agreements? Okay.
No, just the approvals to navigate the process.
I like it. It's a great way to clean up some of these hotels.
What's your closest example?
What's happening now or what could? Yeah. Route 30, right next to Walmart.
Do you mean?
Oh, I think you meant outside the
You mean
town.
one that?
Oh.
Yeah, one.
Like this?
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, there's one in Manheim Township right now that is, it's temporary, but a portion of the property is being run with the support services. They did reach out to township and they are not having issues with that.
Free,
10. Yes,
so you're not free to say the address of that?
where folks are staying. It's in the township, it's like off of. Yeah. So they're having issues.
No.
Yeah, no, there's always been issues.
Thank you for.
Yeah.
Just this.
Yeah, so clarify. So they're not with the program. And well.
The common space discussion includes, there's no requirement that it be all inside, it's a combination of inside and outside.
Yeah, it could be any kind of common space available. So like if there's enough room for a playground up there, you know.
Playground could take that full 500 square feet. And there would be no inside common space. Is that what that possibility? Because it says it's gonna be not less than 500. The most it would be required if we have the 50 here, it'd be 750. But if you're got a playground outside, there's no inside common space. Or I'm not reading that wrong.
Yeah, but then there are certain exceptions which they would have to function as common space, such as, you know, a lobby, vending area, kitchen, or common. That's not included within the number, let's say it's 500. That's not included in the 500.
Yeah, because yeah, I understand, but I'm saying it could be that you'd have a place, but there's no common space inside. You could have the outside be the 500 square feet for a playground, but there'd be nothing inside.
It's all kind of a case by case, but it would be really hard to run this program without any common space. Some of the funding sources do require common space.
I'm just saying the ordinance itself says can be within and outside, and so it can be a playground, it can be a meeting room, lounge. So it could be, we say it has to be not less than 500, but most is 15. If you have 50 units, it'd be 750 square feet. You could have all of it outside, and there'd be no inside common space based on the ordinance. Yeah. I'm just wondering.
Search Jacob Bowen did.
Okay.
SRU facilities throughout the US. And that was a common number, was the minimum of 515 square.
Sure. But you could have it such that the common space is all outside and nothing inside. Does the township agree with what we have here before us?
The township supplied that comment.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was unaware of that, yeah.
We had some good discussions beforehand
Okay.
into this document here.
Any other questions?
No, fine.
I'm fine. Anything else you wish to?
No. And if you could get the hearing scheduled for the 17th, I mean, your August meeting, that would be very good for our projects.
So are you thinking during the board meeting? And I'm asking because at 3:30 that day, we have a budget work.
Anytime that day. If you want to do it after that, you'd have to just advertise. You know, you're holding a public hearing. And it could be if you want to do it right after your budget workshop, it's fine, or the evening one would.
What time's the workshop? 3:30?
I say 3:30 it starts. Could be right after and then right before your board day. Yeah,
What time?
put it all in one night.
Yeah, we're okay with it.
30. Our budget workshop usually runs about 2 hours for this first round. This is all high level. What do we need? And where is the board direction? So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fine, by 30. If you had to change those numbers, just let us know whatever you picked, so you can authorize. And then the planning commission would be, the township planning commission would be when? Is there,
I know I'm not supposed to play newbie, so I won't. I'll just ask. This is new to me. Is this in order? Is this consistent with what we are looking at to do long-term for our township?
so this was actually one of the suggestions in the housing plan and now in the comprehensive plan. So yes.
In the housing study that we did.
Yeah.
They spoke of this.
Did they identify an amount that we needed to have that fills in the study? Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't read the study completely.
5 years, 700.
700 units. Now, not
Units.
necessarily SRUs, but over 700 units.
And so this is in keeping with our plan.
It is.
And developing already developed property.
Sure. Yeah, okay, yeah.
And unusual in our county, in our township, because of our number of hotels.
Yeah.
I certainly have a number we can give more ideas on that we'd like to look at this.
And plans like this would decrease the opportunities for trafficking and things like this, because you'd have stable units with people living there.
Right.
The human trafficking portion should be dropped if some of these places can be converted on Lincoln Highway and other places.
Thank you, team. I'm sensing this fits in with what our long-term plan is for the benefit of our township. Thank you.
all right, there's the petition I drafted. Do you have a copy of that? I don't know. Did you get the petition?
Yeah.
I quoted a bunch of sections. I found it fascinating that you laid that out as a conflict. Is that typically dealing with hotel on Route 30.
Yeah.
Too affordable, which is probably the first time I've ever done this. And it's been so in line with the comp plan.
Good.
It's not, but it's clearly.
Yeah, thank you.
Did remember back in COVID, we did have one hotel that was related to homes for COVID only. And that was run with support services, and I was not aware from chief of any or anything.
PC meeting would be August 11th. It would likely go for a briefing, but that's tomorrow. In July. That meeting is tomorrow. So let me talk with Jacob tomorrow about how we line this.
It doesn't work. I mean, there are these comments. Chance it would be tomorrow.
But no.
Any other comments? Like the board.
So you're accepting the proposal and authorizing us to forward it on to all of our planning partners for review and comment.
With just the spelling change.
We're not going to be the counter plan.
I know, it wasn't criticism, it was just, I see these things. Because someone come back and, well, this is a shard thing. Thank you.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gallagher, second by Mr. Hayward. Any further discussion? On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And that is the public hearing date too. You might want to do that also.
Yes. We typically advertise that.
Oh, they don't have to authorize it now? You guys do it separately?
We will, so what we normally do is we would have at the next meeting, set the date for the hearing as August 17th. Because we meet twice a month.
Okay.
So August 3rd to set the hearing. You good with that?
Good, as long as it's best. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to our supervisor discussion items, still policy and false fees.
So as we talked about at our last meeting, the next time that this could be discussed would be August 3rd. As the ESC is slated to meet on Thursday evening, we're still waiting to see if we are. Then Chief will be getting in touch with the board members that are working on the tow policy. I will state though that as we looked at false alarm policies for both the police and the fire, we found that there were a significant number of unpaid false alarm fees in the township. And so that, along with stray dog fees and engineering fees and a slew of other fees that were out there, we did ask the township solicitor to send demand letters to all of those that owed the township funds. And so that did cost the township $675. However, just in police and fire alarms, we received $2,000 in payments.
And to know that that had a positive impact and that we utilize it regularly. Savings, basically ongoing to reduce our deficit spending.
So I don't have any cost savings today, but we are continuing to look at what can be outsourced through consultants and what can we do software wise to increase our customer satisfaction and be a cost savings in the long run to the township. The financial reports that you all got from Kevin Hostetter, Director of Finance, show that at the 6-month mark here in 2026, we're doing pretty well. We're at the 60% mark with revenues received, and we're at the 46% mark with expenditures. All of our staff and the heads of department go through and make sure that what's being spent has been authorized, make sure that there's not a less expensive way to do it.
You foresee, because of the storms, a significant cost increase?
There's going to be a cost increase. We had a number of public works staff here on that Sunday in order to get things cleaned up. Charlie and I made that decision together because another storm was coming. And so we wanted to get all the inlets cleaned because we knew with the July 4th storm, a lot of debris. And then again, on the July 5th storm, there was again a lot of debris. So yes, we are going to have some costs associated with that. I can't tell you exactly what those are right now. We are still keeping an eye on whether or not there will be state or funds available for reimbursement for those costs. We've kept track of additional police officers, the public works staff that was in, and all of the equipment that was used and the hours.
The other piece of that is now there's some weather reports about what was really at work, right? So maybe that would work in with any state appeal.
That's it.
Right. Any other issues on any other cost issues? Okay. And safety.
Right, so Mrs. Kreider brought up the safety concern along Willow Road at your last meeting. The township staff has asked the chief to provide the accident reports to the township traffic engineer for review. So that is being completed and the traffic engineer will then review with township staff what opportunities there may be there. But we don't have anything beyond that for tonight.
All right, any other items or anything to add from supervisors on our discussion item list? Hearing none, we'll move on to action items or requests. Pardon me, right?
Could you give the supervisors, we have these long lists of time deferrals. What's the main cause of a time deferral?
DEP and PennDOT.
Okay,
So
so it's not in-house.
not generally, no.
Okay, that's what.
So of the ones tonight, the Rockville Clubhouse, that was at the request of the consultant to move that. And then high foundation, that is a DEP issue that they're waiting for over 4 months for their DEP permit. Lancaster Archery is both a PennDOT and a DEP issue combined. Mr. Petersheim at 702 Hartman Station, they are working through the conditions of the township engineer.
But the essence of it is, as Roger's saying, it's really not one of our team not responding. It's some people outside of our influence. We can encourage them, but we can't cause them to respond.
That's correct. The North Aldersburg Road, that had to go through zoning in Upper Laycock before it could come back to the township, so.
That's helpful and encouraging to know, and the team should know that we appreciate the responsiveness that they put into it, while others that they have no control over are aberrant. Even though we pay fees.
Good with that, Roger?
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted
Okay.
to hear.
We'll move on to action items. A request for fire police from Hand in Hand Fire Company for the Strasburg Borough Farm to Fork Bicycle event on August 29th.
Right, so we got a letter from the Borough of Strasburg asking for the Farm to Fork Fitness Adventure event on August 29th, and they would like the assistance of Hand in Hand Fire Police. Hand in Hand has agreed to do that. This is outside of the township, therefore the board needs to approve that so that they're covered through the workers' compensation.
So moved.
Do they, just a question, okay, no, do they make a contribution to Hand in Hand Fire Police? Yeah, okay.
I'll second.
A motion by Mr. Rudd, second by Mr. Gallagher. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. B, under action items, the resolution, the sewer planning module for Dunkin' Donuts at 1625 Old Philadelphia Pike, fucking right near Hack.
That is the right near Hack. I believe it was a Union Bank, if I remember correctly, that went out of business quite a number of years ago now. And so that building has sat empty for a little while, but the Dunkin' Donuts is planning to go in there based on the seating count. They will need 2 additional EDUs.
Good board.
I'll make a motion to approve the additional EDU for the new Dunkin' Donuts at 1625 Old Philadelphia Pike.
Motion to approve the resolution by Mr. Gallagher,
Second.
second by Mr. Rudd. Any questions? I don't know about you, but it seems like a pretty good location for that.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Manager's report.
So the Willow Road culvert replacement had a few punch items that needed to be done, and that has now been completed. Now we await the connection of the trail system by High. I'm just gonna keep rolling it. The Strasburg Pike to Oakview Road Trail, that final walkthrough was conducted. There's a minor punch list that needs to be taken care of for that. If you haven't gotten over there, it's a great trail. It now has a great loop system, right? And it is inviting to the community. And then the Hempstead and Greenfield Road intersection 2 had a final walkthrough. That has a few more punch list items than the trail, but we're getting there on that. So almost through. The Lancaster Heritage Pathway, the original portion with the Walnut Street extension, has been finalized through DEP. So the township staff will be able to move the bench, the trash cans, and the 2 dog waste stations out there, which has been a help in keeping the area clean.
So in terms of the storm, again, I mean, I know the board, they all share the same sentiment. We're very impressed with how the township took that on. We realize you guys didn't have power here in the building. there was really a skeleton crew of you and some department heads that were really taking things on. And, we had significant damages in our parks. I don't know if there's any other damage like our brand new trail or anything. Do you have any other comments of that?
There was no damage to the Lancaster Heritage Pathway, no damage to the Strasburg Pike Trail. There was significant damage in Community Park, which did take the Public Works staff a full day and a half to clean up. And then there's still areas that are closed. The trail in particular through the woods on the east side has some significant tree down, and that we put up closed signs in that area. But we were able to, I shouldn't say they were able to have that park open, and the folks that had the pavilions rented were able to do so on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the following weekend.
So in the weather report of the incident, they spoke of maybe 1.5 to 2 mile wide stretch. We appeared to be on the edge of that. Would you say that's true?
I would say that's true. There was little damage on the south side of 30.
Like Flory Park, really?
Flory Park, there was one tree down next to the creek.
Interesting.
Yeah, in fact, we were able to move one of the pavilion rentals for the 5th over to Flory Park. That was an easy move, but there was little damage at Lafayette. One branch came down there, so it was really north of 340
Is it something that there'll be a meeting on to review?
that I'm aware of at this time.
Emergency folks or anything like that?
No.
Pretty good, usually pretty good at sharing what they need to.
They are very good at sharing that.
Yeah. Okay, second time for public comment. Seeing none. I'll take a motion for done. With the motion, second by Mr. Hayward, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? We are adjourned.